Well, you all know who I am, right?
Beran Massey.
One of the things that I was told early on was that the name Beran Good News is a good slogan. But it's more than that. Hello. Why don't you come join us on the stage?
Yeah.
I don't want to be the only good-looking person up here. So. Besides the beard. Okay, I got your back. Bearing Good News was the slogan that I had selected 2 years ago when I ran for HOA board here in Woodstock.
I'll go up there, but we were trying to, so I'm
and I
kind
never
of
really gave it much
backup
thought.
security as
I
well,
just
so
thought
I'm
it was
trying
a
to make
cool
sure
way to say
it's a little
Beran, because Beran Good News, right?
all
Oh, you need a Beran Bad News, you're very good.
We want to make sure that we keep
I wanted to be the Beran Good
everybody in
News.
front and keep our eyes.
It didn't occur to me
That's why
that
we
in my
chose these seats.
catechism teaching, my upbringing as a Catholic, I knew as a child
I don't know.
that the word good news actually was the
I'll run up
definition
there
of gospel. And it didn't occur to me. Shame on me. I didn't even think of that when I wrote down Beran Good News. Because it was only after the Lord spoke to me and said, Paul, I want you to run for office, that it dawned on me, oh yeah, Beran Good News. He wants me to bear his good news. So I'm here to tell you that. I don't know if all of you heard the story when Rosie Oakley, she's not here by the way, right? She said she was coming to. One of the things that she told me that I should consider running is because Rodney Lusk, who was the supervisor for Franconia, he got into his office on a polo. No one was running against him. How easy it is to win an election when nobody opposes you, right? And she didn't want, and neither was anyone, him to win re-election unopposed. And she said, Paul, you're the only one in Franconia who would potentially win against the guy. And I said, well, tell me something about him. Well, first of all, he's the first black American to receive the role of supervisor in Fairfax County. And I said, well, you know, I could never take that away from him. He already has that. That's history. And that's great. I'm glad that he got that. Really, I'm glad that it finally happened. Because, you know what? We're all children under God. We all have the same blood inside. We're all the same people, no matter what color. Just like the song they were just singing, all right? No matter what color, you're still my brother. I will never take that away from the man. But when I look back at his term and I see that he has done nothing for our area, he has done nothing for the taxpayers who put him in that job, who pays his bills. He has done nothing. Nothing. In fact, if anything, he's done the opposite of what we really need. How many here live in Franconia have seen their tax bills go up, their property tax? How about 50% in the last 3 years? I know, because I just bought this house 3 years ago, and my property taxes have gone up 50% in that time. I couldn't believe it. And what I really couldn't believe was when the supervisors decided to give themselves a pay raise of 45%. I wish I could give myself a pay raise, right? Well, anyway, when she told me that, I said, let me talk to my higher power. Lynn, they want me to run. Should I run for office? And she said, no way. No way. I will not support you. No, forget it. Besides, how can you even think you'd win in a heavy Democratic area? And I hope my neighbors are listening. Which they probably are. And that's good. You should be here, by the way, because we're going to have a dinner here soon. But I said, let's pray on it, honey. And she and I went to bed that night. And she quietly, with a sheet up to her nose, she always did a lot of things. I have to pull it down just to make sure it's still hurt. And she said, Paul, how can you even think of running? You can't even walk. And she was telling the truth, because I have bone spurs in both of my heels. I'm technically handicapped. I've got the placard proof. For the next 4 years at least, I'm going to be walking with pain every step I take. And that's just something I have to live with. So, we prayed on it. The next morning, I had an appointment to take my RV for service in Manassas, at the repair center. Because we were going to go away for vacation for May, I wanted to make sure that everything was working just fine. And so I went there knowing that I was going to be sitting in their waiting room for 2 or 3 hours, right, while they're working on it. So I had my coffee cup and my cane. I wrote with a cane. And I fell asleep while I was waiting for the RV to get finished. And 2 hours later, they came out jingling the keys. Mr. Beran, your RV's ready. Mr. Beran. Well, that woke me up. And I got up. And I took a step. And I took another step. And I said, oh my God. No pain. It was all gone. I couldn't believe it. The Lord had absolutely taken care of the pain for me. And it was an emotional experience. And I thought back, this was a Monday. The previous day, Sunday, my wife and I listened to the pastor at the Cornerstone Chapel giving a sermon about St. Peter having cured the lame in the city gates of Jerusalem. And here was a poor man who had never been able to walk for 40 years. The people used to carry him out and set him down so he could, beg amongst the people who came into the city. And of course, they had to carry him home too. So when St. Peter cured him, and he got up and started jubilantly dancing around the courtyard, they're thinking, what? What happened to this guy? Isn't this the same guy we used to carry out every morning and take back every evening? That was me, ladies and gentlemen. That was me that day at the RV Center. I felt that excitement. But the Lord had healed me. And I thought to myself, I can't wait to go home and tell my wife. So I came home and I said, honey, I have something to show you. And she said, oh my God, you have to run. And that's why I'm running.
Security.
Now,
What's that?
I also want you to know that God has a sense of humor. He's a couple of weeks later, things started.
What's that?
I got an intruder.
But by then I'd already put my hat in the ring, and I am running for sure. But you know what?
Good luck.
So many things have happened since then that tells me very clearly.
I found like 5 of them in the grass yesterday.
And he wants me to win this election. 3 amazing things have happened since then. I met, of course, Pat Harity, who is the supervisor for Springfield, just 2 more districts away. And he's a remarkable guy. He's a great guy. I love him. He's terrific. He's a Christian. He's a hard worker. He's really a good man. He deserves that role. But what he doesn't deserve is his only one voice against 8 others, well, 9 including the chairman, who are all Democrats, and he's the only Republican. Which means he can never get any of his suggestions seconded. None of his motions will ever get passed, regardless of what he does. And that's just sinful. His opinions are just as valid as theirs. They need to give him the attention. But you know what we need to do? We need to get more Republicans on the board. Yeah. Whether it's me or a handful of others, we need more Republicans on that board to give an equal voice, because there needs to be some conservatism that really respects the taxpayer. The supervisors currently, they're voting to push us out. They don't want single-family homes. They don't want us to stay. They're making it so unaffordable. Believe it or not, people who have already paid off their houses in Franconia and in Fairfax are calling me and saying, Paul, you got to do something. I can't even afford to live here anymore. The property taxes are more than I have. So that makes me have to move away. I can't let that happen. Not on my watch. But I can't do it myself. Just like Pat Harity can't do it himself. We need to have a majority on the board so that we can have a voice for the people who are living here. That's, after all, who the supervisors represent. They represent the taxpayers. They don't represent the people who they think might eventually move in. They represent us. So they have to hear our voice. And as a supervisor, I will not only make myself available to hear your voice, I will act on it. And one of the first things I did is I called a gentleman by the name of David Gordon. Is he here, by the way? He runs the Virginia Project, PAC. That is the organization that actually helped Duncan, Sears, and the Arts get into office. Each of the three of them were by themselves. They ran a strong campaign, but it wasn't until the three of them got boosted by a single PAC that they got all in at the same time. Ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to announce to you today that the supervisors of Fairfax County are being backed by the Virginia Project. And we are calling ourselves the replacements. So you will be hearing a lot about that very soon. And I have gotten most, the majority actually, of the candidates excited about joining this PAC and being a part of it. There's just a few of them think, well, maybe we should just continue to do it on our own. Now we'll compete. Well, they'd be here today if they had the right. But that's just the first of 3 announcements that I have for you today. The other 2 are even more sensational, and I can't wait to tell you about it. But I'm going to make you wait a little bit. We have a bar that's fully stocked with everything you can imagine a bartender who's anxious to pour yourself a drink. Go get yourself something, and then I'll tell you number 2. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Let me see this. Oh, it's
Yeah, I hope more people are
Too many people. He's the chairman of the Democrats. To support, not to say
It's hard. Yeah, they don't pay attention.
since 78. So 40-something years.
Oh, wow. Ooh, it's cooler right
We
here.
have like 45 people in Illinois that walk this district for Republican.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. People don't know what's going on. They don't. I feel it affects them a lot. You know, I'm trying to help fund them. 2004 up in Illinois.
Okay, number 2.
$10,000 to start. Me and my cousin.
Now, I want you to know there is a press release waiting for you that you can get on this detail, and number 3 as well, waiting up at the registration table. I'm happy to share that information with you, and I would encourage you to take several copies, distribute it amongst your friends, media, social media, anywhere you can, because it's pretty damn exciting information.
Woo!
Hey,
Number 2,
jump in. Go in the pond.
how many people know Franconia District?
You're going to do it.
Hello? Crickets? Anybody? You know, you can go on the Richmond Highway and say, hey, where is that?
We volunteered with them earlier.
Where is that Franconia District? They say, huh? I don't know. You're standing in it, Bob. You're standing in it. This is Franconia. The reason why perhaps you don't know that is because until just last year, it was called the Lee District.
Yep.
The Wokes decided they didn't like the name Lee. And 80% of the people that they polled said, we're okay with that. What did the supervisors say? We'll change it. So they changed it. It's now Franconia District. Just like Lee Highway and Lee Memorial Highway, they're also being changed. 82% said, no, leave it alone. That's fine. I don't want to have to change my address. They're
Yeah.
changing it anyway. They don't listen to us. They don't care about what we think. But we have to live with it because right now that's what we have. The Franconia District is here. It is law. It is the name of this area. Now, for those that don't know, Fairfax County is divided into 9 districts, of which Franconia is just one. And I hope to be the supervisor as of November.
Woo!
Anyway, with that identity crisis, how can people have any pride in where they live? How can they frankly give a damn about the Franconia district when they don't even know where it is. And they don't care. I intend to change that, folks. When I bought this house in 2020, I asked my real estate agent, this whole area is filled with history, American history. It's ripe with it. Tell me something about this property I'm buying. And she had a think for me. Well, this was George Washington's backyard. I said, get the hell out of here. Really? That's pretty cool. I'm buying a piece of George Washington's backyard. Hey! Well, that stuck in my heart. And I'm thinking, why the hell don't people know that? Why did she have to stop and think about it? I even checked. I called the Mount Vernon estate, and I talked to the management there, and I asked them, is it true? Franconia is the backyard of George Washington? And he said, yes, it is. And I said, fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to propose from this day forward that this entire district be known as Washington's backyard. Live, work, and play here.
Yay!
But I'm not happy with this Franconia district. I'm going to flip it around. It'll be known as the District of Franconia. Just like the District of Columbia. So this will be the District of Franconia, Washington's backyard. You know, by the way, it's also Washington, D.C.'s backyard, too, because we're directly south of Washington, D.C. So I've already registered that. We already have Washington'sBackyard.com, and I intend to move forward with that effective immediately. So you can already start calling it that. That's fine with me. I don't even have to be supervisor to make sure that happens. Because I have had 50 years of marketing and advertising experience. I'll make sure that name gets out there. And everybody celebrates. In fact, I would like every summer there to be a big backyard sale in Washington's backyard. I want a big backyard family gathering in Washington's backyard. I want a big backyard barbecue in Washington's backyard. We'll do all this every year. We'll celebrate it. This is going to be Washington's backyard. I promise you. Number 3. You know, the Lord puts you in places where He wants you to be. He introduces you to the people He wants you to know. He gives you the inspiration, the ideas He wants you to think of. I am not capable of thinking these genius ideas. It all comes from the Holy Spirit, our Father Almighty, Jesus Christ.
Amen.
My Savior. It's funny. It is funny. My wife and I did take the RV and we traveled around the country this past May. We hadn't planned, actually, even before. Our food is here. Wow. How about that? Timing.
Woo!
There's the tables, ladies. Have at it. We'll be ready as soon as I'm done talking. And we're done talking cancer. All right, are you ready for this? My wife and I stopped in L.A. and we walked the Walk of Fame. And I took a picture of Donald J. Trump's star on the walk. I thought, oh, that's cool.
Still there?
And then it occurred to me. Wait a minute. First of all, you got to know this about me. In my past, bless me, Father, I have sinned. I was the spokesperson for the Democratic Party of Allegheny County for 10 years in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That doesn't deserve applause. that deserves
Lord, forgive me.
But the truth is, I learned back then their plans on how they were going to change America into socialism. I learned about the plans that they were going to introduce a pandemic 30 years from now, which is now.
Wow.
I learned that they were going to eliminate American history from our curriculum, which they did, in favor of socialism.
Yep.
I learned a lot.
Yep.
And that's why I stopped. And I said, I want no parts of this. I'm out of here. I changed parties.
Yeah, yeah. That's
And
good job.
now you can talk.
Yeah.
3 months later, I get invited by Obama to join his White House Business Council. And I thought, what? I did, by the way. I did join. My sister said, are you speaking something? No. I shook his hand. He was my friend. Whether he deserved it or not, he was my friend. I would even listen to the Bible. But the truth is, I learned back then what the Democrats were planning to do. And I said, we have to stop this. We have to change this. We can't possibly go back and call the parents of our children today and say, hey, you didn't learn American history when you were in third grade. Would you want to come in and repeat third grade? So, okay, I thought, well, what can we do to entice them to learn a little bit more? But they missed about our Constitution. What they missed about our founding fathers. What they missed about this great country and what makes it great. And what we're going to do to make it great again. So, I thought to myself, these stars, they're missing something. They're missing a story. So I have suggested, and it has been received extremely favorably by the people who can make this happen. And I promise you, you help me get elected, and it will happen. The Great American Walk of Fame will be on US 1 Richmond Highway in 2 years. The Great American Walk of Fame. I've already got it planned. I got it outlined, and you have to help me get elected because that's the first step. The second step will be to get all the people who will want to take a piece of this. I'm talking about county, I'm talking about state, and the United States. And you know what I was just told today by someone who really knows this stuff? He said, Paul, your idea will become a national monument. It will bring so much tourism into Fairfax County, so much money that our taxes won't have to go up anymore.
Yay!
Now, is that good news or what?
Yes.
I hope all my neighbors are hearing this because it is a fact. And it will happen if you help me get elected, and the press release is right there. Please take it with you. Share it with everyone you can. Make sure everybody knows the idea originated right here, and with the Holy Spirit, it will happen. And it will make not only America great, it will make Fairfax great. It will. People will come from D.C. to Fairfax to check it out, to see the stars and stripes of all the great Americans who lived and fought for this country, who really helped make this country who we are. And you know what? I want the very first one to be the Constitution of the United States. That will receive the very first emblem on the Walk of Fame. I promise you that. Please help me do it.
Yes.
At this time, I'd like to take another sip of water, and I'd also like Darrell Smith, Dr. Smith, to come up to the stage, who will be our moderator today for our roundtable discussion. I invite all of you, I know this is sunshine and all, but you need to give us questions that you would like to ask of these candidates. We'll first let them pass around the microphone and introduce themselves. First of all, Darrell Smith, Dr. Smith.
Thank you, Paul. Isn't it great to hear Paul Beran speak?
Yes!
It's not very good news because we haven't heard Paul give his speech. So it's great to be here. Thank you for the candidates to be here on this very hot day. I've actually met some of you before. I've tried to help some of your campaigns before. So I'm with Chasing Freedom, Virginia. It was initiated by Tom Speciality, who ran for Senate a couple years ago, and I helped political candidates, conservative candidates across the state of Virginia. But my focus, I live in Alexandria, Virginia, so unfortunately I cannot vote for any of you. But I do encourage you, and I'm here for you. And even if you don't vote in their districts, they will certainly take your money. So, and you can, your time is very valuable, you know. And so door knocking, calls, and most of you, before you came here, I researched you online, and I definitely would encourage you to try to make your presence known on the internet. And I will say, one of our candidates who I've met before, she has been very vocal on some of the political media and the media out there, and actually has been noticed. So I do encourage you to do that, because young people today, they're not really reading the newspaper, and they're not always on the radio. So if you're not on political media, or on the media in general, you need to be, because the Democrats are kicking our tails in that area. So, I don't know, when I first, I moved here, I was a Texas resident for a long time, and I didn't really know what a county supervisor was. and I did some research, and I know Paul covered a lot of it, but I just want to tell you that, you know, there's 10 people running. The Democrats have already had their primary, and they're going to run for 4 years. So the people that are running for supervisor position, they're going to be here for a while, right? And they're not making a tremendous amount of money, but they're making a good amount of money. I think what I saw is the current rate is $95,000, but I think it's worth it. 135. Right now, I'm looking at December 31, 2023. It's still 95. So Paul's saying they're going to go up to 135. Yep. Paul said they voted that for themselves. But still, they hold very important jobs that I think even people like me, we don't know enough about. So a lot of the Democrats have put news sources out, and they already asked the political candidates from the Democrat side, when they were doing their primary, what questions. So when you come up here and speak, I'm just going to read these off to the supervisor positions just real quick to tell you what the Democrat side is looking at for their questions for their candidates. So I'm going to have a little improvisation here and ask you some of the questions before the supervisors come up here and speak. And one of it says, is, like the rest of the region, Fairfax faces a severe housing affordability crisis. The county has pledged to build 10,000 subsidized affordable housing units by 2034 and has experimented with building affordable housing on county land, but the proposed budget did not increase Fairfax's affordable housing budget commitments this year. So the question all the Democrats were answering, and it's been in the news and TV and social media, is do you think this is adequate? Are there other housing policies that you might want to explore? And then they also talked about some of the housing challenge in hiring and retaining the county's sizable public workforce. And the county has implemented several hiring incentives, including as much as $15,000 hiring bonus for police officers and more than 5% market rate adjustment for county employee salaries included in this year's budget markup. Some of these positions have remained stubbornly hard to fill. And so in late in 2022, the county had a 30% vacancy rate in nurse positions and 40% vacancy rate in crisis intervention specialists trained to help people in mental crisis. So, and if you need help, I will repeat some of these. But the question that all the Democrats are running for your opposing position for the supervisor positions, if elected, what would you do about that and keep to keep these employees where they have vacancies? So I think I'm going to stop there. I know it's a very, very hot day, but I don't have a specific list in order, but I'm going to ask some of them to come up and speak because I did try to research each one of you. So I see right now there's a point, this is Paul's house, so I think he has right to say who he wants to come up first. So with that said, with Arthur Purvis, he's previously ran for Senate District 32, and he has a website on Fairfax County Taxpayer Alliance. So please welcome. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you. Just going back to George Washington for a minute, when George III heard that George Washington walked away from the presidency, George III said that George Washington was the greatest man of his age, for somebody to walk from all that power. And I maintain that the Constitution of the United States is the greatest political document ever written in the history of the world. And I maintain that the delegates of the Constitutional Convention were the most brilliant political thinkers that ever gathered in one place in the history of the world. So, the questions weren't so brilliant. So first one was affordable housing, okay? You know, the supervisors first began their affordable housing program in 1973. You know how long ago 1973 is? Half a century.
Yeah, 50 years.
And after half a century of tax-supported, subsidized, government-built or subsidized affordable housing, teachers and policemen still cannot afford to live in Fairfax County. Do you think with their affordable government-supported affordable housing that they'll ever succeed? Well, based on the last half century, it's not. They're not. The only way you can have enough housing built is for the private sector to do it. And part of the problem with affordable housing are the environmentalists who oppose building more suburbs, more nice houses with yards. They say that's bad for the planet or something. They're the ones who are very responsible for suppressing the supply of housing. And by the way, that's particularly severe in Montgomery County, where they've set apart maybe a quarter of their county for a permanent rural area. So for affordable housing, you have to let the private sector build. And this 10,000, what difference does it make if you're going to build 10,000 more units if when they haven't specified how many units they need? And it may be 100,000, it may be 150,000. We fell behind in affordable housing a long time ago. The affordable housing program is posturing to make it look like they're addressing the problem when they really are not. Now I can talk about, you had the salaries and what's the third one? Okay, so let's talk about salaries. Everybody is having a hard time finding new employees. You know why? Because everybody has known for decades that when the baby boomers resigned, there would not be enough younger workers to replace them. No matter how much salary you give, it's not going to create people out of nothing. Except for the police and the couple of positions you've named, and even in those cases, the school system and the supervisors have never provided any evidence that they are losing employees or unable to recruit employees because of salary. You know, the county does not publish the average salary of a county employee. That is Fairfax County secret. But my estimate is about $90,000, and they have fabulous pensions, fabulous health care. Most county and school employees, police excepted, would lose salary and lose benefits if they went to the private sector. So when you want to retain and hire, you've got to look at other aspects. In the case of the schools, for example, are classroom behavior, wokeism, the excess administrative. There are other reasons that people won't take a job and or will leave a job. But the pay that they're getting, I'm repeating myself, they've given no evidence that they are losing employees because they're leaving for higher salaries. You had a third question, didn't you? Okay. I wish you'd ask three. Okay, so I've been president of the Fairfax County Taxpayers Alliance for 25 years. And don't you think it'd be good to have the president of the Taxpayers Alliance be the chairman of the Board of Supervisors Budget Committee? Vote Purvis in November. And it's easy to remember the name Purvis because Purvis rhymes with nervous. I mean, it rhymes with service. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Purvis. All right. Well, you heard it here first. The first speaker is always the hardest, right? So, but he's been in front of audiences for a while. I've actually heard you give your speech before at the Fairfax GOP about the taxes, and I thought it was pretty impressive. So, is Brian Murphy here? I don't know. Were we going to have someone speak on his behalf? Are you going to speak on his behalf? So, Brian Murphy is running for Providence District. This is not Brian Murphy.
Hi, my name is Sheila Anbu, and I am Brian Murphy, campaign manager. Unfortunately, he has a family emergency out of state, so he sent me to be here on his behalf. And 4 things that he focused on his campaign is crime, education, parental rights, and tax. And please go to our website, BrianMurphyForSupervisor.com. We need your vote, we need your volunteer, and we need your donation. I'm sure all the candidates here need you to stay behind so that we can take back Virginia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's the quickest speech ever for Brian Murphy. So the next supervisor, Indira Massey, Hunter Mill, right? Yeah, Hunter Mill. Would you like to say a few words? So when I was talking about social media, actually you were the one that I was talking about, because I try to follow a lot of local candidates in this area, and I don't see anybody more active on Instagram than Miss Massey here. So thank you very much. Hope you can address some of that.
Thank you for noticing. And I'm running for Hunter Mill District as a board of supervisors, and many people told me that digital world is very important nowadays, and we shouldn't ignore the fact that most of people live in digital world, and nobody, as you said, nobody reads newspapers now. Everyone checking news on the phone. So I'm trying to inform people about what's happening. I'm trying to bring more attention to my campaign, for campaign candidates as well, because I believe this is very important. That's how we get attention for from potential voters and people who just want to know what's happening. So this is my pleasure to be here today, and thank you for your support. And I also need you to support me with volunteering, with donations, and any help possible. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
And I will say, she talked about campaigns and donations. I just looked online again. Some of you are not active enough, I think, and speaking from Chasing Freedom, Virginia, we always try to rate candidates on their public presence, their media presence. VPAP.org or Ballotpedia. And if your face is not on there, I highly recommend you put your face out there, because people want to know who you are. But your opponent had $108,000 that they had raised. So, I mean, how are you going to address that?
This is really impressive for me, and I'm sure for you also. And of course, I'm a first-time candidate, and I'm running my campaign for the first time. I started very last minute. I started 2 months ago, and I'm doing everything what's possible to bring my financial situation to a better place, but I can't do it without your help. And what the Democrats are doing, they bring all their sources all together. They act as a one unit, and they act as one family, and that's what we need also to do, because sometimes we think only about our family. Candidates think only about their own campaign, but we have to act all together as one family, because we need to accomplish our one goal. We need to win this election. We need to put as many candidates to positions as possible. And as I said, I need your support. All candidates need your support in any way possible, not only your money. We need you to support us on social media. Even I didn't like this fact before that we need to be so much present on social media. I didn't have Facebook before 2 months ago. And we need your likes, we need your comments, supportive comments, because I'm getting so many negative comments every day on Twitter, because Democrats pay some robots to send us negative comments, and they just want to bring us down. And we need people like you. If you have 5 minutes a day, just go to pages of your candidates you're following. Just write something supportive. It will help us a lot. It's small thing, but it will help a lot. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. So So other people running for supervisor. Okay. Let's see. I did some homework on each one of you. So Ed McGovern. So Ed McGovern here is running for District 18, and that really confused me. I'm sure he'll address it, but I used to help him out when he was running for District 42. So I'm glad you're here, Ed. It's good to see you again.
Thanks, appreciate that. Yes, I am Ed McGovern. I'm running for delegate in House District 18. As everybody can do when they come up here, edmcgovernva.org. District 18 is a result of new line being drawn. It runs pretty much from South County High School up through downtown Springfield to 495, long and narrow. So I have some key elements of the Franconia magisterial, I love saying that, magisterial district in there. We can say Franconia or Lee, that are going to be very important to my campaign and the fall campaign in there, downtown Springfield. I have some feedback from there. People might be thinking about throwing some affordable housing in that area, but they feel a little neglected, even with their current supervisor. They'd like some attention, and I think that this is somewhat of an open get in there. I'll say something else about the affordable housing. Everybody, I was a political science major, started college in '76. Every political candidate, every single race gets asked about affordable housing. The political class loves it. It's always a need that's there. This is certainly something that came up when I ran against my opponent last time. And, they just, well, we got all these answers. This is great. A wrinkle on that is that the word is, and this is from the Democrats themselves, that the affordable housing situation is getting worse fast. Well, who's in office? Okay, as it stands, 9 out of 10, we know, the supervisor. It's 9 out of 10. Delegates, there's a whole lot of power that comes out of the General Assembly and the Richmond. Every delegate in Fairfax County is a Democrat at this point. Okay, we have a couple other nice candidates, here and going. So you can ask about affordable housing. It's like, okay, you guys have been here, and you keep telling us it's getting worse. And they keep saying, okay, just keep throwing somebody else's money at it. Keep throwing somebody else's money at it. Okay, you haven't solved it. It's time for somebody new. We need some new blood in there. We need some new voices on the board of supervisors. We need some new delegates coming out of Fairfax County. And another wrinkle, they really don't like to hear this one on affordable housing, is basically you're telling people where they're going to live. You won't see any of the people saying, hey, we should do something about affordable housing, volunteering to live in affordable housing. I'm not. I just soon have people make their own choices for the housing. We need to do better. The property assessments aren't helping the situation at all. It is driving people out of the county. I hear that quite a bit. It's driving people out, and you're not getting. It doesn't provide for what you're talking about. Police, government employees, police officers move into it. As far as retaining, folks for the police, for nurses, medical personnel, it is not necessarily pay. I know of good people, on the other side. They're saying, they're not getting support from the administration. They feel like they're getting attacked quite a bit. I know one young lady, same age as my daughter, said they were just throwing, her to the wolves pretty much, giving her responsibilities for very serious situations. She's 26. She said, okay. She's in Florida now. Okay, I don't think there's not, enough money to give to her. She just didn't feel like she had to support the job. We need to talk about, talk to Democrats about that. They're in charge. How about giving support? Okay? As I wrap up, the social media, yeah, getting killed there. I'd be one of the ones getting killed there. Yeah, need help. Part of the situation with the Democrats doing this is, I am going to ask for help. They pulled a lot of money from out of state. Okay, they don't have a bunch of wizards running for office, that really know how to, whip up social media. They got a lot of money. Yeah, it's your source types, they've brought in a lot of money, and they have really built that up. So we need help. You need money, to run social media. And yeah, it's important, no doubt about that. So we need help there. Again, antigovernmentmedia.com.org. Say that right. All right. Appreciate that.
Okay. All right, and now if we can have Nan-hyun. Did I pronounce that correctly? He can correct me. He's running House District 9.
Win for Virginia. Awesome. That's right. All I do is win. That's right. And I actually have very good news for everyone. Right? You guys know what the Supreme Court did on Thursday? Yeah. Woo! Yes. And you know what the Supreme Court did on Friday? Yes. And you know what we're going to do on November the 7th? Yes! Yes! There's two more, also besides my name. Now, for Asians, and I see a few Asians here. Also, my district, this the redistricting year, and they've changed the number to number 9. So, in Asian culture, the number 9 is a lucky number. It's a royal number. It's a winning number. Yes. Yes. And so we're going to win. We're going to get together. We're going to have the first House of Delegate district flip back to Republican this year. And I've done it with full speed ahead. It's only been 2 weeks. I've got my websites up. I've got all the cards. I've got t-shirts. I've got signs. All the social media. My handle on social media is Win for VA, HUYNHFORVA. And my website is winforvirginia.com.org.net. All of that. And yes, we do have a social media presence. We're catching up, but we are full speed ahead, and we're going to get ahead, and we're going to win.
All right, thanks for that passionate speech. I apologize for the name. So I'm also married to an Asian as well, Korean American. She got her citizenship. She immigrated from Korea after we got married when I was in the military, and she's had her citizenship for 10 years, and so she's very, very proud of that American flag there. So, absolutely. So, with that said, there's some people here on the stage who I have actually never officially met, so come on over here and apologize and introduce yourself so I can also get to know you.
Richard Moreau, HD 17 candidate. Very pleased to be here. I'm going to keep this short and sweet because I have a meet and greet to go to in just a few minutes, but I am running an HD 17 because it's my view that the first responsibility of government is to keep our families and communities safe. And they are failing in that basic task. And we just saw the primary, Democratic primary, re-elected a Soros-backed DA in Fairfax County. It is not only our job, but our obligation in Richmond to counteract those soft on crime policies. I have 3 basic proposals. Number 1, mandatory minimum sentences, violent repeat felons. We are letting violent murderers, rapists, and other violent criminals repeatedly come back on the streets and commit more crime. So the first thing we got to do is incarcerate those who want to do us harm. Number 2, we have to address the drug issue, fentanyl and opioid. I will embark on legislation to work with our federal government to ensure that fentanyl and opioid stays out of our schools and out of our communities. It is killing over 100,000 people every year, including way too many in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And these are teenagers and 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds who are dying of fentanyl. We need to attack that issue. So those are the top 2. The third thing we need to do is we need to push back on defunding the police. Defunding the police, it's not just a matter of money, it's also a political philosophy which says that police are not important and we don't need police. In fact, we should disrespect our police. We need to undercut that political philosophy and support our police officers, support law enforcement, and not apologize for our support for that community that keeps us safe. And then my second major reason for running is we need to restore simple sanity in our schools. Wokeness and low quality go hand in hand. You cannot have good schools that teach good values and frankly teach the basics, science, arithmetic, history, social studies, and other subjects. Those cannot be taught if our schools instead are teaching these doctrines that are frankly not only anti-American, but they're anti-common sense. So we got to push back on wokeness and restore quality in our school. If we do those two things, Virginia once again will have some of the best schools in the United States of America. Thank you very much. And Paul, thank you for hosting us.
If you want to get a group picture of all the candidates, and since he has to leave, I'd like to do that now. So all the candidates, please come to the front.
Now, while he's here, I want Richard to spell your last name because I think it's not a very, very common spelling.
M-E-R-E-U.
See, I told you. M-E-R-E-U.
I also wanted to point out that we are actually live streaming on Facebook right now. So even though so many people didn't come here as they promised, they are watching. I can assure you, in fact, there are people watching all over the country. They want to see what we have to say. So having said that, I think we have some school board people who would really love to tell their story.
Yep, here's someone else who I just met when she was signing up today. This is Cynthia Walsh. Right, did I say that correctly? Okay, thank you. Running for a school board, Sully District.
Hi, everyone. I've been to almost every school board meeting in the past couple of years, and I can tell you that every single one is exactly the same, where they don't want to look at you and they don't want to hear you if you're in public speaking. They purposely put the camera several feet back so you're just a shadow. They don't care what you look like. They don't want to see you. And they don't want to hear you either. The last school board meeting, they talked for like 3 hours about nothing. Because they were trying to bore you to death so that you would leave. And most people did. So we were trying to stay for an equity vote that they've probably already done. They already decide what they're going to do before they've ever come up for a public hearing. It's just kind of lip service. They're not listening to parents. I'm here for parents' rights because parents need to be seen and the parents need to be heard. And when you go to the school for anything, even just to walk in the door, you have to show your ID and show why you're there. But if you walk across the border, that's another story. So the parents are the terrorist group right now. The parents are not heard, the parents are not seen, and as a parent of twins, and my husband also went to Chantilly High School. I'm running in Sully District, which goes all the way from Bull Run all the way up to about Fairfax Mall. So the parents are not seen and are not heard, and when the parents want to ask about academics, for instance, if you go into the school board meeting and you talk about literacy in the school board, they're going to break that down into groups, and they're going to keep breaking it down into whatever group, and then it's in the Identity of the Month Club, and then they're talking about that for an hour at the next school board meeting, and they're not talking about literacy, they're not hiring tutors, they're not hiring teachers. In fact, the teachers are leaving because we have good teachers who are just tired of the wokeness, and they're tired of all of this breakdown and all of these groups, and we lose a lot of good teachers. We lose tutors, we lose therapists. I come from special needs. I wrote a book called Breaking the Autism Code, and it's kind of about coming back to, they're actually common sense things if you think about it, but simple things that you can do that I've done personally about special needs. For instance, in speech therapy, so that if you have somebody who's behind in literacy, speech therapy can, vision therapy can be a lifesaver because it's a tracking problem. It's from looking far away and reading the gazebo sign to reading something up close. You can't track it, so when you're reading something on the board and then reading something up close, you get lost, and you get further and further lost. I've seen kids will go up in every level, so they can't play a sport because they'll get hit in the head, literally. So I want to talk about special needs, and I want to talk about academics. I have plans for academics that we want to hire these good teachers to come back and ask them why they left in the first place. So I'm running for the parents, and if you're a parent and you've been to the school and they didn't listen to you, they wouldn't set a meeting with you, or they've ignored you, now is the time to volunteer. The best schools, the schools that get left behind are where the parents don't volunteer. Volunteer in your PTA, volunteer for anything, everything, so that you can see what's happening in the school yourself. They'll make you sign an order that you're not allowed to talk about it, but if you volunteer, you can still see it. So that's why I say the best schools are the schools where people volunteer, and it isn't about race. Because whatever race you are, you volunteer, you're going to see it no matter what it is, and you're going to be able to do something about it. So I would ask you all to volunteer, and that is how we fix the school. The parents that are involved are the parents that make a difference in your school. My website is electcynthiawalsh.com. You can remember my name from, I'm aging myself, but Cindy Walsh from 90210. She was the best TV mom. She was voted the best TV mom on TV in the 90s. So if you can remember that, then you can remember my name. Though my name on the ballot is Cynthia Walsh, so I look at that. But you can call me either one. And I hope to see your vote. And if you, I know this is kind of far away, but if you're in Sully, if you know someone in Sully, I have some brochures and stuff that you can give them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cynthia. All right, I'm hoping some of these people running for school board are going to address maybe, you kind of alluded to it, DEI and some of the other stuff, but I mean, I am definitely in favor of supporting, reading, writing, arithmetic, and stick to that, stick to the fundamentals, right? And that's when you would get my vote. The next guy here that I would like to introduce, Tony Savio from Providence.
All right, thank you for having me here. We're going to turn this up right now. So I am not a politician. Background, military, special operations, Secret Service, CIA. If you guys want to look me up, go ahead. We already had about 1,500 increase in our clicks towards our website, to our social media. If you want to, look it up. There's something coming out very special. I agree with a conservative Christian network producing a documentary about a story that I did rescuing a child out of Ukraine. If you want to read a story by People magazine, it's on there. Please do that. For that, let me dive in a little bit of what's happening and why I'm running. What we're seeing as a assault on American values, we're taking parental rights away. This board right now is slowly taking your rights away. They did a recent survey last week asking before the 8th grade, do you want gender studies done in that grade? 85% said no. Your elected officials and superintendent said, and I quote by Dr. Reed, the majority does not dictate what we do. Now, is that an America that I defended? Is that an America that you guys came to? We are seeing an assault on our country. As I look at the diversity, just right here, everywhere I go to, this is the most diverse community. People came here for the American dream. And I'm hearing people wanting to leave this country because they're seeing the American dream slipping away. They're seeing their kids put into a situation where they don't want their kids to be exposed to. Now, this election is way more than what we're seeing with ABCs and 1, 2, 3. This election is the future of our generation, the future of our country. And it starts with the school board. Every single person here has a vested interest in the school board. Whether you have kids or not, it affects your taxes. 52% of your taxes go to the school board. You have a budget of $3.7 billion that they dictate what they're going to put that money towards. The future generation is dependent upon what we're doing at the school board level. Are we teaching the right values? Are we bringing America values, what we built this country on, why people from all over are coming to this great country? Are we emphasizing that? Or are we tearing down the fabric of what we defended? This is critical. And when I start seeing, I start talking to people, this is a movement. Right now my team consists of 8 full-time volunteers. With that, we just created a youth movement, Team Saudi Youth Movement with youth ambassadors. These are teens that are junior high all the way to high school that are joining this movement. The person leading it, Anna Rodriguez, fantastic. She was on one of my podcasts. We talked about mental health. She's going to come back and we're going to talk about equity in my podcast. She's leading this group to show that students don't want this. And so what we need to do, we need to band with these kids. We need to surround them with love. We need to surround them with support and say, hey, if this is not what you want, we're going to support you. And we need to do it. Every single person needs to step up and make your voice heard. If not, we're going to lose our country. And like I said, it starts with our school board. It starts with our youth. Thank you. My name is Tony Salad. Please go to my website, join, donate, everything you can. Also, I have a hat right here. I take donations right now. Thanks, Tony. All right, the next candidate, and we're getting close to a dinner. And I think Paul talked a lot about, that God is on our side, and I think he surely is today, because I was expecting rain when I got here today, and it is actually, the weather has calmed down, the wind is here, and this actually feels great for a speech and socialization, and a great band here right when we get off of the mic here. So the next, and I think this is the last candidate, don't hold it against her, but I read on the website that she is running as an independent, and so far she had raised $17,000, and she is Cassandra Alcorn. I probably butchered the last name. She is running for school board at large. Cassandra.
Okay, hi, I'm Cassandra Alcoin. I'm running for school board at large, and I'm your last speaker before you get to eat, so I'll make it very, very brief. I am running, first a little bit about me. I am a mother of 2 children who attended FCPS. I am a military spouse, actually a veteran military spouse. My husband's the veteran, I'm the spouse. And so I've lived all around the world with him. And I also have 35 years plus business experience with the federal government. I have been in all sorts of areas like multi-billion-dollar budgeting, head of a human resource organization. I have had experience in policy making and things like that. So I have a pretty varied background in terms of capabilities that I'd like to bring to the school board. So why did I become a candidate? I retired a couple years ago. I was going to live the good life at home with my husband and the dogs and the cats. And then I started watching our education system. My kids did pretty well in the school system, but we had a lot of time with them. Both my husband and I were, we worked, but we really did stand behind them. But when the scores came out last October, right before Governor Youngkin was elected, I was quite saddened by what was happening in our county. We have the largest school district in Virginia, and I've lived in this county off and on for over 30 years, and I thought, why is it that after 30 years that I've been here, we are looking at a school system that cannot teach our children? We have 40% of our schools, elementary schools and middle schools in Fairfax County, that the children between the grades of 3 and 8th grade, 3rd and 8th grade, they are not proficient in reading or math. And the gap among our children between the Caucasians, the Asians, and our Latino and our young black children, it's just getting wider. And so I'm thinking, this is just, we can do a lot better than that. So that's why I jumped in the race. I thought, I've got something to bring to the table. I think we have children to save, a county to save, and so that's why I'm running. And so I'm running on a few things. One, academics. We do need to bring that gap together. All our children have the capability to do very, very, very well, but we are just not getting there. So we need to bring back achievement, high expectations, and our children will do much better. We need to get the politics out of the classroom. I believe we've had an over-messaging of some of the things like gender and racism, and we shouldn't. The children develop differently. Kids need to just go to school, play, learn to, there's so much they can do at school without having those things to distract them. Safety, we have over 800 trailers across all the campuses, and they're unprotected, so we need to work on that. Also, parents. Parent involvement is so crucial to children learning and thriving in schools. And so I'm running to bring our parents back into the system and start repairing that relationship with the schools and the administration. I think that has been so fractured for the last few years. And the last is for everybody in the county. Over 70% of our residents do not have children in FCPS. They are paying taxes so the children have a great education, but they're not getting that great education today. So I think the community is all on board on paying those taxes, but they want good achievement. So I am running for all of taxpayers, all of county, because they also deserve to have a great school system. So I'm Cassandra Alcoin. You can see me on CassandraAlcoin.com. That is my website. And please look me up, and please give me your support. I've been so blessed in the last few months to have been given some generous support. And so please continue that and look me up. And you can also write me at hello@CassandraAlcoin.com if you have any questions. I'd love to answer them. So thank you very much. And thank you, Paul.
All right, I think that wraps it up with the candidates. Are there any other candidates that we were going to talk to? And I didn't see anybody that handed me a sheet of questions on it, and I don't know if we're going to have time for questions. I think Paul's going to address it here. I know everybody's hungry.
Yeah, just real quick, I actually had a chance to speak before the school board last week. What a fiasco they are. It was 2 hours of self-admiration. That's all it really was. They were just admiring themselves, praising themselves. It just, first of all, they actually sounded intelligent, but where the heck were their brains? It wasn't there. One of the things that I just absolutely despised by the whole process is the very first thing they did is they voted to accept the agenda that they had discussed in private without telling us anything about it. They decided, okay, yeah, I'm going to vote. Yep, guaranteed, we're going to vote. Yep, we accept it. Accept what? Well, what we talked about in private. Well, what was that? They won't tell us that. What they did accept was their policy on gender equality, their policy. It was just, you know what? I even said to them when I spoke in front of the board, I said, you know what? That's what our Constitution is. That's what our Bill of Rights are. that already guarantees us those freedoms. You don't need them. You think you can write a better piece of paper than the Constitution of the United States? You can't even teach it, for crying out loud. That's how I left it. And I suggest to you, these people are a whole lot better and a whole lot smarter. And I encourage you to vote for them. And I remind you, those who are watching YouTube, you really should be here because we've got some great food. And I want to thank everybody who did brave the hot, humid weather today. We've got food, we've got bar, we've got music, and we've got some surprises. But most of all, we have our keynote speaker, She Van Fleet, author of Miles America. Her story is amazing. You really have to stay for that. Let's go ahead and kick off some music and get some food going. Would that be all right? Do you agree with that? Is that good? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Darrell Smith, for a great job of moderating tonight.
Check 1, 2.
Oh, actually, I'm just looking for more trash to take. Does anyone have?
Check. No more.
I could take a.
Check 1, 2. Check.
No, it
Check.
has. Oh, it has. Okay, perfect. I don't know if you've heard of it. All right, sure. Could you stack those for me? Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Anything else? You good? All right, I'll come back around later. Take this one. You got it. You got it.
See this lady? She
she talked Fox News talked to I think many times.
as there's food, I would like to have an invitation.
Giving out Canada roughly.
I looked at her VCAP, she had like
all about real estate races. We're going to pray here.
I think we want to give our time and attention to give her a blessing. So we'll take a moment to bow our heads. Father, we know that
It's okay, my wife is
we want to praise you, for you are good God, for you are the giver of life. And we gather this day, especially on this day, to kick off a journey that will redeem America, especially this great state of Virginia that had Jefferson and Madison and Washington that had paved the way. And we gathered in a new generation of warriors to fight for freedom, for justice, and for equality. So, Father, we ask that you bless each of the brave candidates that come up, that put themselves on the front line to fight this battle, to retake Virginia and bring glory to your name. So, Father, we ask that you give us wisdom, give us inspiration, give us courage, and most of all, that we united in one heart, under one God, and that is our Lord Jesus Christ. And Father, most of all, we ask that you bless them, keep them in your mighty hand as we fight this battle ahead, that we will be victorious because you have already won the battle. Father, we ask you also to bless the food that we are enjoying, that you have provided, and that you bless it to our body, to our mind, and to our spirit. We ask all this in our Lord Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
You just gonna stay here? I'm gonna sit here. We'll get this like season. Anyways, what I was saying was, look up some guidelines for the program. Is
能力，你在我们的软弱上，你显为我们的刚强。我们靠着你，我们就必能得胜，胜过这个黑暗的权势，胜过一切。让你的名在这在维州再次被高举，让你的名得荣耀。我们祷告是奉耶稣基督的名。阿门。
So, what are your three issues? Schools, green energy mandates, and life.
So what do you say to the Democrats who abortion is important?
Do you support taxpayer funded too? Because that's, as far as I know, that's what they do by choice. Restrictions, so, no, I'm not a fan of bans. We need to get away from
Yeah. So I just 30% Asian, 45% white. Yeah. So yes. And that's the thing. Yeah, and I'm up against a white lady. So, but it's redistricting here. So yeah, I want the Asian vote. So yeah, you guys should help me on this way too. Western Fairfax County, so Centerville, Chantilly, they're right next to Loudoun County, but it's the Western Fairfax County. The Centerville, Chantilly. Yeah. So they just recharge. We can flip it. It's all in Fairfax County. So that's you guys have cards? Or business cards? Yes. I used to work at NAH, and I love going to I like Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. That'd be great. More than anyone else, you know.
How's everybody doing out there right now?
Y'all having a good time?
Yes, are you enjoying the band? All right.
上帝的手啊，上帝的手 proud 吗？最后 last 2 days 都让你 proud， 然后你知道我的公司的那个 president， 知道吗？面这个报约上看下来了，晚上应该就好。一样大的道理。我们 president 的理念。
Thank you.
Sorry. Sorry.我要走了。我看了一下，到那边还挺近的，才半个小时，但是也不能半个小时差了点走，必须得早走。
对。
I'm near there, but I'm going to help me. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, all right, good.
All right, Patriots, we are here. So I need to go to DC Gulag right now. So we will see you next time. Thank you for all your support. See you soon.